Well, we have a very special guest today. We're once again blessed with coming on Ion Piscataway. It's an away game for the TV studio, but more importantly is we'd like to welcome Piscataway resident and the head football coach of Rutgers University, Greg Schiano. Greg, we're coming into the 2024 season. It must seem like an eternity. Football never stops in Piscataway, especially at Rutgers University.
Well, that's true, but I love doing it. Right? As I tell people all the time, 37 years of coaching and never been to a day of work, so that's pretty good.
Idle hand is what they say is work of the devils. But let's get to what are your first impressions of this upcoming team?
Yeah, I really like our team. I think we have really rebuilt the culture here, and I think now it's finally enforced throughout. And we have really fine leadership. You know, player-driven teams are what lead to success on the field, and these guys, the leaders on this team, have taken control. So I'm looking forward to the season. And
we're going to get to some of those players in a few moments. But coming off a winning season, the bowl game win over University of Miami, which I was glad you beat, and I'm sure you were. How are you going to start this season? Are you starting the same season with the expectations, or what do you tell the students, the athletes? Hey, we won a bowl game, but that's not good enough?
Well, I tell them exactly the truth. I didn't come out of retirement to win, a bowl game, although that was nice, and that's a stop along the way. But we came here to be champions, and that's what we have to keep our eye on. We have to keep our eye on what it's going to take to be champions.
You also have a good amount of players that are returning. Is that going to help in the winning culture in the age of the transfer portal? Because you see in the press how a lot of head football coaches are having to deal with this transfer portal. And it's not just in football, but all sports in general. So many players seem to leave, but that creates problems, but I think you've had some luck. A lot of the players are sticking around.
Yeah, we've been very successful in keeping the players around, but I would say it's not luck. That's for sure. You have to work really hard to build a culture where the players feel like they are part of it, that it's a player-run team, yet the coaches and the staff are here to make sure that we help them, we take care of them every way we can, aid them in their education, in their preparation for their future, not only in football, but in the real world, in jobs, and later in life as a husband and a father. So I think the thing that I tell our staff is if you're coming to work here, it can't be a job. It's got to be a lifestyle. You're coming here to live life with our players. And part of that living life with them is coaching football. And the other big part is getting them ready for life.
Well, I had another different question I was going to ask you, but now that you brought up staff, has there been any significant staff changes on the team?
Well, I'll tell you what, I love our staff, and the key for me is that the leadership of our staff has stayed the same. So Kirk Shiraka's returns on offense as the offensive coordinator, and Joe Harasimiak, he returns as the defensive coordinator, and then Jay Butler, who's been with us for so many years, he remains the head of strength and conditioning. And, when you have those three pieces in place.
I think Jay's never left.
Yeah, Jay's been with us every part of the journey. Including down in Tampa, and is the best at what he does in the country. So we're blessed. I really love our two coordinators. They do an unbelievable job. They make my job, I wouldn't say easy, because my job's grown a lot, right? With NIL, with transfer portal, all the things you talked about. That has made my job much different than the job I took in December of 19. So without Joe and Kirk and Coach Butler, I don't think there's any way I could do the job.
Coming out of the spring practice, have you seen some positive movement from the players that were in the transfer portal or came on board, and some of the freshmen?
Yeah, we really have. We don't do as much as some schools in the portal. We signed 6 guys out of the portal. We use the portal to fulfill a need for each individual season. We're not looking to build our team through the portal. We're looking to fill holes in each. So the 24 season, the 24 team, I thought there was some things we had to bolster and shore up, and we did that through the portal. But I still believe our formula is recruit the right guys for Rutgers and then develop them in every area of their life. And if we can fill the pipeline with those guys, once you get it filled, then you just got to keep pushing them out. And that's where we are now. We're finally at the point going into year 5 where the pipeline is full. And now we just got to keep recruiting well to keep moving the right players through that pipeline.
So the returning players that have come back, how are they gelling with the freshmen?
Really well. And now, when you have senior leadership, when you have grown men, 21, 22, 23 years old that are leading your program, you got to think about a 17 or 18-year-old kid. They look up at a Mo Toure and they go, whoa, that's a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what he does and I'm going to listen to what he says. And it's taken a while to get there, but I'm really excited that we are there now.
So the offense, what expectations are there for what we've saw in fall of 2023 versus what we're going to see in 2024? Well,
I think, our offensive line is only getting better every year. And Coach Pat Flaherty does an unbelievable job with them. I think the wideout position is definitely going to be a step up this year. Running back, we return Kyle and Sam.
Who was a Big Ten awardee for right there. So.
Leading rusher in the Big Ten, Kyle Monungai. So that's exciting. And then Ethan Kalakamanis, our new quarterback, is doing a great job of assimilating into the team, becoming part of the culture, and we're counting on him to do great things.
So what role, as the quarterback, what type of style are you going to play without giving away any trade secrets?
Well, Ethan's a good athlete, so he can run the ball. He's got a big arm, so he can throw the ball. And he's really a student of the game. And he and Coach Shiraka have a great relationship. So I think that's critical, right? So, and that's one of the reasons we named him as the starter immediately after spring, is that we knew where we were going and we wanted to make sure that that all arrows were pointing in one direction.
So is this expected the offense, like with Monungai running the ball a lot, to wear down the opposing team defense?
Well, that's always who we're going to be. Yeah. But I think we're going to be able to throw the ball. I think our receiving core is better. I think the pass catching at the tight end has a chance to be really good. And I think Ethan, if he can deliver the ball the way I know he's capable, we have some guys that can make things happen after the catch.
Okay, so you had a top 20 defense team last year. The expectations for the defense, who do you think is going to step up the defense?
Well, most of the guys are back, with the exception of Max Melton. And then, Mayan Ahanatu was a great leader for our team in the inside of our internal line. But everybody else is back.
I think you're one of the few teams in the Big Ten where you have a substantial amount of the players returning on defense.
Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't yet got into studying our opponents. It's mostly been us. We're doing that right now, actually, kind of peeling back a few things on our opponents, and we'll do more of it over the summer. But I really like where we are now from an experience standpoint. We're just going to have to, like I said, be ready to replace those guys a year from now, and that's why the pipeline has to be full all the time.
Special teams, that historically has been your coaching strength. What can we expect this year on the special teams?
Well, you're going to see a lot of new faces at the specialist, right?
Between the punter, the kicker, and the returners.
Well, our punter and our kickoff guy are both new, so I'll let them write their own course.
You get spoiled with the punter for 4-year veteran.
Best in the business, right? Yeah. Best in the business. But now with a new punter, a new kickoff guy. Now our place kicker is the same, Jay Patel, who actually had a historic year accuracy-wise here at Rutgers. So we're counting on him to keep up in his game. And then, we have, like I said, 3 new specialists. Our long snapper is new. So we'll see.
Most people don't realize that the long snapper is actually a very important position.
Critical. The play never gets off. Either one of the plays, punt or PAT field goal, never get off if the snap's not accurate.
Yeah. Let's go into a little bit about the Big Ten expansion, basically from the West Coast. How has that helped you for recruiting purposes?
Well, we're not big recruiting out on the West Coast, right? That's a 6-hour plane ride. We don't do a ton out there. What it's helped is in the development of the Big Ten Conference, it's made it stronger. And now when you watch college football on a Saturday, you're going to watch Big Ten football from noon to well after midnight.
Till 11 o'clock p.m. or 2 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time.
There you go. And it's Big Ten football window to window, right?
I don't think my wife's going to understand taking over the TV until wee hours in the morning. Honestly,
you just got to start your day a little later. That's all.
In going in that direction, the fact that there's not going to be any divisions in East-West division, how is that helping Rutgers?
Well, I think, we played in the toughest division in all of college football, the Big Ten East.
I would love to know who decided where we went in that division.
Well, now the divisions are gone. So this year we don't play the three traditional foes that we played, right? Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State. A year from now we will again, but we don't this year. This year we pick up UCLA, Washington, and Southern Cal. So it's not exactly light work, right? When you replace them. But that's this league. Week in and week out, it's always a challenge. And that's what I love about it. It's where Rutgers belongs academically, as an institution, and definitely as a football program. So I'm just thrilled and that we're blessed to be in this league.
Well, I have to laugh. I got a call from the mayor of Santa Monica, California, who's a UCLA grad, and he was feeling me out about coming to the game there because he has not too often he gets to the East Coast. But I said he should come on out. You have a good time. Go to New York City, North Jersey while you're here. So that's the whole idea of getting in the spirit of the Big Ten. You talked a bit. You're playing three new teams that are addition to the Big Ten: UCLA, USC, and Washington State.
Or University of Washington.
University of Washington. How are you going to prepare for them? And because they historically have played a different type style of football.
Well, people like to think that the Pac-12 played a little different brand, but for history's sake, the Big Ten and the Pac-12 used to play every year. They're champions in the Rose Bowl. So, and it's always been a very competitive situation. So I think it's great. I think bringing in those schools as well as the University of Oregon, huge for our league, made a great league even stronger. And as I said earlier, tip to tip, noon till after midnight, we get everything you can want in a league. And I'm just thrilled we're in it.
Well, I had a laugh. I was talking with one of the mayors about there, who's a USC grad, and he was saying how USC dropped this year their Ole Miss game because of how physical the Big Ten games are. They didn't want to overtax their players by playing Ole Miss out there. So I think it's really interesting now that some of the universities are really rethinking some of their non-conference games out because there's 9 or 10 games now with the Big Ten?
Yeah, different than any other league. Yeah. We play 9 conference games.
Yeah.
And that's tough. And it puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage. It also allows us to have the best TV contract in all of college sport, right? And that's what keeps the engine moving economically. But it is definitely a challenge on your players, to put another Big Ten team on the schedule as compared to playing a non-conference.
And I want to delve into that for a second. What has that been like playing week in, week out, comparable teams that you don't get a breather? I mean, some conferences around the country, you could say, all right, well, I'm playing a team even though anybody can beat anybody on a given Saturday or a Friday night. But let's just face it. There's with the Big Ten, you normally have several of the teams that are in the top 30 in the country.
Yeah, it's tough. It's demanding, but it's what I love. I mean, that's if you're going to do it, there's no reason to do it other than at the highest level, and there's no higher level in the Big Ten. And what was the Big Ten East, now the Big Ten overall with the 4 new additions that you mentioned. I just think it's why you do the job. It's why you do it.
You're playing a Friday night game against University of Washington. I think the last time Rutgers played them, I think it was sometime in 2017 on a Friday night, I believe it was, or a Thursday night, one of them. What is that like? You're shortening your preparation schedule. What is that, the difference between like Thursday and a Friday? And then if you played the prior Saturday.
Yeah, you have to adjust. It certainly is, everything gets bumped up a week. You have to make sure you adjust the workload because they have one less day to heal. Those games are violent. And oftentimes guys are bumped all the way till Thursday. They're not feeling good. So, we adjust. And then later in the year, we actually go play a Friday night game out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So that 8 o'clock game you mentioned, Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, is a Friday night game. So it's not only a short week, but we're playing on a Friday night.
Hypothetically, when you finish up, just so people know, do you when you finish up the game, are you on a charter flight heading home, or do you the players get a day, or they're just heading home?
No, we get on the plane. When we play Southern Cal, the game should be over around 2:30. We'll hopefully be getting, we'll roll out of the stadium by 3:30. Hopefully be taking off, wheels up by 4:35. We'll get back here
gets
by
you
noon.
by noontime back in New Jersey.
Back at the Hale Center, yeah. So
people don't realize that does take a physical and mental drain, not just on the coaching staff, but on the players too.
Well, the players for sure, but the good thing is we have a bye after the Southern Cal game, so that'll help.
So when you have those long trips out on there, I mean, I'm just trying to put something in the minds of some of the fans. When you're on a plane home, I'm assuming you're doing work reviewing. You're not necessarily sleeping on the plane. You're actually regurgitating what happened during the game and what you can do better.
The players are sleeping because they're exhausted. The coaches, though, we have a lot of work to get done. So you have your laptop and you're watching the game on the laptop and grading it and all the things that we do to prepare for. The thing that happens during the season, there are no days off. It's every day. So when you start training camp, in late July, there'll be a day here. If you have a bye week, maybe you have a Saturday to yourself, but very few and far between for the next 6 months.
Yeah, but even if you have a bye week, I'm sure you're out looking out at recruits. So there's really in essence no time off.
That's right. It's different, but it's still it's a break in the schedule. Sure.
Yeah. The landscape of college football has changed greatly since you started college. Coaching. What change do you think has been the best, and what do you think maybe has been the worst?
They may be the same thing. What's the best is that the players.
You sound like somebody running for office.
Yeah. Better watch it. I'm a Piscataway resident now. Careful.
Well, you mean to tell me the fans of Rutgers would give you gray hair?
They do, you see. I just think that it's hard. I don't know if there's an answer to that really, but the money part is what's changed it for the players. And I've felt the players should get paid since I started coaching.
You said that several years ago when we had an interview that the NCAA really needs to take a hard look at this. And
it's well overdue. So why do I say it's the same thing? Because I do believe they should get paid, and they're going to get paid, and they're getting paid. I don't believe that the way it's happened so far is the right way, but things happened as a result of a reaction instead of really planning it out.
I know you can't say it, or Director Hobbs can't say it, but obviously it was poorly handled by the NCAA. I mean, they should have really regulated. My own personal opinion is that they probably should have got in ahead of the game and regulated it, where it's not the Wild Wild West city out there to a certain extent.
Well, you're right, but I mean, everything. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
The good thing is, I do believe we're starting to make headway into fixing it, and the settlement to this latest case, I think, is going to help do that some. Look, there's no utopia. There's always been people that cheat. Cheaters are going to cheat.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that. What we try to do is do it the right way. And Rutgers, the big thing that Rutgers has done is they've stepped up in a big way. This will be my 5th year back. Rutgers has done everything they can to help us be a successful and championship level program. So I'm grateful to President Holloway. I'm grateful to our governing board for doing what they promised they would do, and we're trying to deliver on what we promised we would do.
But circling back to your prior comments earlier on in the interview, is that you're not just selling NILs to these players. It's really about something that they're going to live with the rest of their life. You're talking about a brand, an institution, something that they're going to take with them in their job careers.
Yeah, this
their
isn't
professional
about,
careers.
Yeah, it's not about 4 or 5 years. It's about 40 or 50 years. And their life, and that's the thing now that I'm an older head coach, or whatever you want to call it, more experienced, right? Senior, there you go. The reward is when you get those text messages and you get those phone calls from former players that are using the things they learned in this very room to raise their own kids, to run their own department at their business, or to run their own, whatever they're doing out there in the real world. And, that makes you feel good, like you made a difference.
I think one of your former players, Sanu, said something to that effect to the press, and there was an article about that. What is Greg Schiano's secret in recruiting? And he sort of went down that line and explained that's the reason why.
Look, I just try to be honest with the kids. Now, I've been through it with my own 4 children now, which was different than when I started here the first time, right? And they played college athletics, and I've received all the phone calls that parents receive when the kids are unhappy or disgruntled with something. And again, I think it makes me a better coach because I really can empathize with how hard it is in this day and age to do what these guys are trying to do. So I'm very proud of the way they handle it, and I try to understand kind of the challenges that are out there.
When you're not thinking of college football, what sport do you like?
Well, I like to watch any championship event, right? I love watching the elite of the elite go at each other.
We have the Olympics coming up.
Yeah, I'm a competition.
But then again, you're going to be in the midst of
kind of busy.
Yeah.
I love watching competition. When there's true competition at the highest level, that's what I enjoy. I don't care if it's golf, basketball, soccer, it doesn't matter. I love when 2 elite performers or 2 elite teams are going after each other, and I love looking into what makes them elite. That's kind of my thing.
So if you had to speak to a current football great or deceased football great, if you had an opportunity, who would it be?
I would love to go back and ask Coach Paterno questions that I didn't ask him when I worked for him for 6 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because there's things that have come up every day. And I talk to Jay, his son, sometimes, but I'd love to be able to do that.
Now, are you and your bride going to have time off to take a quick vacation down the Jersey Shore? And which beach do you prefer?
Well,
we don't want to insult any of the towns.
That's right. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. We touch them all. We go to all of them. But we're going to get away for a quick visit. But things are crazy this year. Everything's kind of transforming, and it's a transformational period with NIL, with the settlement, with all the things going on, with the new teams in our league. So, there'll be time to rest later on. This is an important time.
And the proverbial question, is it pork roll or Taylor ham?
What do you think?
I'm a pork roll guy, but I buy Taylor ham.
I'm Taylor ham, egg, and cheese.
So I guess I have the both worlds. I buy the product.
See, we're in Central Jersey, and yes, there is a Central Jersey. North Jersey, it's Taylor ham.
Yep. I do it without egg, just to watch the cholesterol, so I can boost my sodium level.
See, that's why you're still mayor.
Well, I want to thank our head football coach of Rutgers Junior, Greg Schiano, for stopping by on Piscataway, and we wish the best of luck to both him and his players and the staff, and we're encouraging all the fan base in Central New Jersey and in the state of New Jersey and Tri-State region to come out and root the Scarlet Knights on up in the 2024 season. So go RU.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And then, of course, who heads up all of us whenever we head to Washington, D.C., and he is he's so good at what he does. Mayor Waller, come on out from Piscataway, where he likes to say Rutgers, right? Hello.
Hey, Mayor, good
You
to
have
see
to
you.
wrangle all of us when we're in D.C. But he's the one.
Stomping grounds.
Yes, right? That's right. You worked on the Hill
Yes.
when you were just this big?
When I was in high school, I had an opportunity to work for Speaker O'Neill on Capitol Hill, so I went to school in the Library of Congress. So it was quite an interesting thing going back all this time, seeing some of the old places where I used to go in high school.
Okay, Mayor Waller, talk about what it's like to wrangle all of us. Mayor Bass had what, 45 mayors?
I think it was 44 mayors.
44 mayors? And this is the committee that we all look to you, and you have to lead us, and we take your lead when we go in there. And Dave Gatton, by the way, you're amazing when Dave comes with us because he's super skilled. But talk a little bit about, why did you want to head up this committee? Well, it's very natural for you because they all know you in Washington.
Well, I think Mayor Sheeby, for the record, I want to thank you and the rest of the mayors and the organization for bringing this issue to the forefront. We at the governmental level need to change our thought process about mental health. Years ago, it was always talking about with the kids in the school system about non-drug use. Well, now a lot of states have made that legal. So you have to pivot to something else that's going to help. And in this case, I think having, as Mayor Dyer suggested, 100,000 clinicians out there would pivot. It would help the police departments. Police departments aren't trained for this.
Right.
We do have a pilot program in our home county in Middlesex County where we share clinicians that ride with the police officers amongst the towns. So that's been tried out from the Attorney General's office, because even at the law enforcement level, they recognize there's a major problem out there. One thing I would like to add is that this has become a very personable issue. There's not one person in this room around the country that can't say they know somebody from either their immediate family or extended family who hasn't suffered from mental illness. And it's not just isolated pockets around the country. And I think that's one of the messages that we were going to Washington on 2 occasions to talk about homelessness, but mental health, is that we're looking in the eye of the members of Congress and telling it on a personal story. And I think a lot of them understand that, because they recognize, even in their own families, that there's been problems with mental issues. So it's an issue that it's bipartisan, because people can connect at that level. And I think that's the key. We need to obviously get more funding for at parity for mental health as well as medical health, and there's a lot of funding for beds, as Mayor Warren was saying about that, and clinicians, and I mean there's a whole slew of things that need to be done, and a lot of this can be accomplished in the upcoming Congress with the tax bill. That's going to be critical, and so we're going to be calling on a lot of mayors around the country to get in touch with your members of Congress. So I yield back.
What does that look like? Like, what are we doing next? Because we're all going to take your lead.
Well, for instance, we had a very large victory. Mayor Sheev, I don't know if you realize it or not, about a week and a half ago, the Financial Services Committee reported out, and it's going to go to the full House, some of our initiatives dealing with the veterans' homelessness and mental health. And one of the things that I don't think people realize that, as Mayor Bass was making an argument to her former colleagues, is that by changing the income level guidelines for veterans, we can take care of 90% of the veterans in this by just changing a few words. Mm-hmm. And I think most people on Capitol Hill understand that. And that's why they reported that out of the Financial Services Committee. So we just got to get the Senate moving along. And I don't think that would have happened unless we as an organization went down and further highlighted that under your presidency, Mayor Sheevy. And I think this is an ongoing effort. We don't know who's going to control Congress after the election. So it's a full court press in the first 100 days by the organizations. And mayors, we're going to need your help around the country on this issue. Mm-hmm.
But for those that don't know, what was happening there is that veterans were being penalized because of their benefits. So basically they were saying, oh, you
make too much money.
You make too much money, therefore you do not qualify.
Make choices between housing or their check.
You will not qualify for a BASH.
And it didn't matter if it was their regular government pension or their medical benefit pension. So they were being penalized. So, and I think a lot of the members of Congress were stunned when they heard that. And then they started scratching their head, hey, well, this shouldn't be right. These folks served our country. And to me, that's an easy ask to take care of. But I think they're starting to get it. And maybe if we're lucky, by the end of this year, we'll be signed into law right there.
And I do think it really holds true that the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's right.
For sure.
Right? And I think our timing was perfect in saying, hey, don't forget about this. And then it happened.
Yes, and a lot of it has to go, I'm just encouraging their mayors to get to know their members of Congress. Look them in the eye about this issue, because this is very personable. I'm fortunate enough, Congressman Pallone out of New Jersey is the ranking member on the Energy Commerce. Gary McCarthy from Schenectady, his member is Congressman Tonko, who have a lot of say on this. So each of us out in the audience and through the conference, we have an affiliation, whether it's your U.S. senators or your members of Congress. You need to get out there and explain what is really going on, because we are the ones that are in the trenches on this, and that's why we're seeing it on at the local level that needs to be addressed.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks, mayors. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
at 1347 Stelton Road in Sukh, Sagar. The newest fine restaurant cuisine, Asian cuisine here, and we're with the owner. Where's the owner? Why don't you come on? You gotta make a pitch here on why people should come and eat.
Thank you so much.
Thanks is all in.
Thanks. This is the only place you can eat to your heart's desire and not gain any calories. So come out here and support one of the local restaurants here. So with that, we're going to do the ribbon cutting. Everybody want to put their hands on it? Okay. Are you ready? Ready? All right, we give a countdown to 3, 2, 1. There we go. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Today, we gather not just to celebrate achievements, but to embrace the boundless possibilities ahead. As we stand on the cusp of this new chapter, let us reflect on what brought us here. More vitally, envision where we are headed. Our high school years have been a whirlwind, late nights filled with determination, exhilarating victories, profound friendships, and lessons extending far beyond the classrooms. We face seemingly insurmountable challenges, yet emerge stronger, more resilient trailblazers. This resilience showcases not only our perseverance, but our potential to be agents of change in any space we occupy.
We often take things for granted, only realizing their value once they're gone. In a weird way, for the past 4 years, I dreamt of leaving Piscataway High School, but today, it's bittersweet. It's almost as if I wish I had a little longer here. Let's be clear though, I don't mean the work, just the part where I made a ton of memories. From skipping class to attend meetings, last-minute planning in student council, to seeing Mr. Haran being dragged across the field during our pep rally. As Miss K's taught us, I want us all to embrace the present. Hug your friends a little harder, laugh a little louder, and cherish every single memory because time really does pass, and sometimes the best things do end. Every moment is a blessing. Life itself is a blessing if we allow it to be. As we reflect on our journey and the support we've received, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the immense gratitude we owe to those who have helped us along the way. I'm sure everyone will thank their parents today, but I'd like to be the first to do so. Today, we owe gratitude to our parents. I'd like to thank my parents, Mama and Baba, who have supported me every step of the way. Whether it was making sure I went to school despite my senioritis, or being there for me when I felt like this very day would never come, I could not have done it without you, so thank you. Let's give a round of applause to them and all the parents here today.
let's think of all the fun we had. Freshman year, we were on Zoom because of a global pandemic and we couldn't hang out with friends, meet new people, or really go out at all. Wasn't that so fun? No, not really. Yeah, how about coming back sophomore year with masks and social distancing when we were yearning for that normal high school experience, but couldn't quite get it? That was super fun, right? No, not really either. I'm sorry to bring up these sad memories, but these challenges are what made us the resilient, powerful people we are today. I know we all have struggles other than COVID that affect us daily, but remember every day that you are trying, you are winning, and you can't have good days without bad days. So the good days, what about those? Well, I think any day when the world is changed for the better is a good day. So allow me to share some of the changes Piscataway High School that our class has made to Piscataway High School. Class of 2024 is the founder of 7 new clubs and the winner of numerous club-based awards. Since our freshman year, we have allowed the freshman seminar program, shout out mentors, the ASO program, and 5 new courses to flourish. Our class is graduating with so many award-winning athletes and teams, making us some of the quickest and strongest people in all of New Jersey. And while we never won any pep rallies or hallway decorating competitions, we have these great achievements to look back on. I hope years from now when people ask you, hey, what high school did you go to? You can proudly answer, P-Way, you know.
My hope for the class of 2024 is that you leave Piscataway High School, you feel prepared. Prepared to face the challenges that lie ahead. Those challenges will be different for each individual, and they do not care about your abilities, what you look like, or how much money you have. They may be challenges in a college course, challenges in the workforce, or simply the challenge of finding yourself. I hope the lessons learned in your 4 years at Piscataway have prepared you for those challenges, no matter how they manifest. What matters is that we accept those challenges and we embrace our inner strength, because it's within all of us. Let go of the uncertainty you may feel. Control what you can control and rely on your support system. Know that challenges lie ahead, but take comfort in the lessons learned and the friends made, knowing you can overcome those challenges and grow from your adversity. For challenges are the food that fuel our growth. So go forth with the support of the Piscataway family. From Children's Corner to Randolphville, from Grandview to Eisenhower, from Knollwood to Arbor and King, from Kanakamak to Shore and Quibbletown, knowing that once a chief, always a chief. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2024.
I would like to begin by congratulating our seniors and all the wonderful things they've accomplished. We wish you the best and hope you will always be part of the P-Way family.
It wasn't easy, but you did it. It's a bittersweet ending to a new beginning. Each of you are on an individual journey into the next chapter of your life. Piscataway High School was the learning pipeline to your future. You are now stepping out and into the world prepared and ready. Your best days are ahead of you. Don't be afraid to dream big, bet on yourself, but remember, in order for those dreams to become a reality, you have to work hard. Whatever you're planning, grow bigger, don't go small. Whatever feels good in your soul, ride it to the highest waves. Change, yes, a change is coming. It can be beautiful and it can be scary at the same time.
Congratulations, and Piscataway class of 2024, you are dismissed for the last time.
Thank you and good evening. On behalf of the Town Council and myself, before I present the award recipient, I'm going to do a little
public information, PR, for all the awards recipients. There's jobs out there in the future of government. We're running shortages, believe it or not, in the state of New Jersey, of finance officers, business administrators, health officers, police officers, you name it. There's a lot of professions where we're running shortages on, not just in Piscataway, but throughout the state of New Jersey. So please, as you further your career path, please think of local governments as a career path, and it would be very helpful. I want to thank all the recipients and the parents, and obviously Principal Baldessano and your staff here at Thing, and Dr. Ranelli and members of the Board of Education. I think I don't know who's happier here, the parents or the recipients, but I know everybody's happy of the donors here, right? Everybody's happy of the donors, because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the donors. If I'd like to ask Ezra Bano, come on up. You're the recipient. You're in the house. Little thing in government services, it's called a purchase order. You have to sign, and always sign in blue ink, and make sure you quickly glance at what you're signing, because you always want to make sure what you're signing. So here, right here where the postie is, sign right here. More than happy. There you go. You signed your first purchase order. Congratulations. And best of luck to all the recipients.
everyone. Good morning. Happy 4th.
Good morning. Happy 4th. Happy 4th.
I mean, you figure that. We are really making it go around this in front of it.
Ha 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 ha.